Welcome to our regular scheduled commission meeting, January 11, 2023. The time is now 7:06. I will begin by saying Happy New Year to everyone and welcome to the great city of Opa-locka in this beautiful new year. We will start by Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bass. Here. Vice Mayor Irvin. Here. Commissioner Kelly.
Present.
Commissioner Williams. Here. Mayor Taylor.
Here. We're gonna have invocation by Dr. Gloria Spence. She's the chaplain ambassador from Worldwide Professional Chaplain Association.
Good morning, everyone. We pray tonight for favor. We pray for favor for each and every official here tonight. We pray tonight in the mighty name of Jesus. Lord God, we thank you. As we pray tonight, we pray for insights to move forward in Opa-locka. We pray for peace in the city of Opa-locka. We pray right now in the name of Jesus that everyone begin their work and their task for this year, God. That you, oh God, in the name of Jesus, will direct them, lead them and guide them. In Jesus' name, amen and amen.
I pledge of allegiance. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Gloria. Madam Clerk, do we have any awards, proclamations, or acknowledgements at this time?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, do we have any pulls, deferrals, or deletions from the consent agenda?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I want to pull number 3, 8, 9, and 11. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes. Madam Commissioner Williams?
The only other one outside of what Commissioner Kelly said that I want to add to that is number 2.
Number 2. Anyone else? So we're pulling items 2, 3, 8, 9, and 11. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kelly, second by Commissioner Bass. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Can I get a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Move it.
Moved by Dr. Bass,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Irvin. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin.
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
we have the approval of minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from October 26, 2022?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Williams,
Second.
Second.
second by Commissioner Kelly. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin.
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Can I get a motion to approve the regular commission meetings from, November 14th, 2022?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Williams, second by Vice Mayor Irvin. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Vice Mayor Irvin.
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Madam Clerk, do we have any District 1 or District 2 reports?
Ms. Mayor, yes, I believe we do have a representative from District 2, and we invite you to come forward at this time.
Okay, District 2 is not here, but District 1 is here.
Oh, I
Sorry.
apologize, District 1.
Greetings, Mr. Mayor and city council members, or excuse me, city commission members. My name is Jeffrey Francis. I'm the legislative aide to Chairman Oliver Gilbert. Don't have a report today, but I just want to let you all know moving forward, I'll be the rep for District 1. So if you need anything, resources, questions, feel free to contact me. I have business cards, so if someone from your office would like to get some, I'm more than willing to pass them out. So I look forward to working with you all and being a resource from the county. Thank you.
All righty, thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for that. Do we have any public presentations, Madam Clerk?
Ms. Mayor? Yes, we do have a public presentation, former Mayor John Riley with regards to the Civil Service Board.
Mayor Riley, you have the floor.
Good evening, happy new year to everyone.
Happy New Year.
I want to thank you. Ms. Mayor, it's a very simple, short thing. The Civil Service Board, I think it'd be in the best interest of the city if we got organized. And would ask you if you would allow the city clerk to announce and help with the organization of the board. Calling for a meeting probably either Monday or Tuesday of next week. That's a possibility. Asking the city attorney if she would designate a person that would be the attorney for the board. Asking the city manager if he, since we are lacking in personnel in HR, if he would consider if he was considering hiring of a temporary personnel, I was recommending Angelina. She's a resident of Opa-locka who worked there before and may would do that temporary part-time during that action. And I would appreciate that. And moving forward, Mr. Mayor, we had numerous files for this board previously. And I'm kind of startled at the fact that those records are public records. They no longer exist. We should not allow that to happen anymore. Public records is public record. It is a violation of law. It is a crime to not hang on to public records. So I'm asking you to put forth the emphasis and ensure that our public records are protected here in the city of Opa-locka. And I ask for your consideration in the recommendations I made to you tonight. Thank you very much.
Do we have any questions for the Civil Service Board?
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly?
thank you. Thank you, Mayor Riley. Since you made several requests to various agents, to entities up here, I guess the mayor will at the appropriate time, or we will get a response as to where they're able to do it staffing wise. And if not, then we'll have to look at an alternative to make sure that that board gets functioning, since it does have a quorum and it needs to meet. So I'll await to hear if they're able to do it. If not, then we'll have to take another avenue to make sure that it gets clerked and whatever needs to be done. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No problem. To the clerk, who is the clerk for the Civil Service Board?
Mr. Mayor, if I
Yes, ma'am.
may, I believe that at some point, the manager's office had appointed Essie in HR, but she's no longer with the city of Opa-locka. So we did send a follow-up email to the manager's office, just requesting, who the new board clerk would be for that board.
So the board clerk comes from the manager's office?
Yes, there's a section in the City of Opa-locka code that states that the city manager is responsible for appointing the board clerks to the City of Opa-locka boards.
Okay. So, Mr. Manager, do you have a board clerk currently in position? I know we just rebirthed it at the last commission meeting last year. So do you have one in place?
Mr. Mayor, not at this time. We just received that email from, I just received that email from the clerk's office today, requesting that I appoint someone to that board. And I certainly will look at that immediately.
Okay, so can we get with Mayor Riley so that we can move this forward? Mr. Manager, please.
Absolutely. Anytime Mayor Riley wants to meet, he has my personal cell number.
All righty.
And Ms. Mayor, just so that
Madam
we're
Clerk.
clear, the HR personnel that was assigned as a board clerk, she just resigned as of last week on Friday. So that is the reason the manager just got our email as of today,
Got it.
just to be
Understood.
clear.
Understood. Any more public presentations, Madam Clerk? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Any other questions for the Civil Service Board before we move on? No? Madam Clerk?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we do have a public presentation by Mr. Alex David. He's with Calvin Giordano, and he's going to provide an update on the city's comprehensive plan.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor. I do have a short presentation. If you could load it or show it, please. Okay, all right, thank you. Again, I'm Alex David with Calvin Giordano, and it's a pleasure to be back before you. I did do some planning work and zoning work for the city, I believe 6, 7, 8 years ago, which is part of this little presentation. So just wanted to introduce the project, which is updating your comprehensive plan. Every comprehensive plan in the state has to be updated on a 7-year cycle. You're due. So we're here to start that process. And I said, just to introduce myself, you'll be seeing me more throughout the next 6, 7 months. So we just, as I said, wanted to get this the ball rolling. Next slide, please. And this, you have the paper copy of the presentation. So basically, Calvin has been in business 85 years. I've only been with them almost 7 years. So, but I've been in the planning and zoning field for about 37 years, over 37 years. So that's basically just a list of our, some of our clients. It's not a full list, but you know, we do serve many cities in South Florida. Next slide, please. Back in, I guess, 14 or 15, we were hired by the previous administration to come up with what was called the downtown concept plan. That was the 2015 version, which focused on creating mixed use areas for the downtown Opa-locka. So that was one of the projects I worked on at that time. Also, basically almost parallel, we took your land development regulations and put them in one document. Initially, or some years ago, they were spread out through multiple ordinances. So we cleaned up your zoning code or land development regulations and put that together. And that was another project I worked on. Lastly, the next slide, I'm sorry, the next one. Yeah, so the last project I worked on 7 or 8 years ago was your comprehensive plan. Again, it was a full rewrite, working very intensively with elected officials at the time and staff and the public. We developed this new sustainable Opa-locka comprehensive plan. So it was adopted in 2015, in July 2015. So as I said, we're on a 7-year cycle, so it's time to update it. Look at the Florida statutes again, look at your policies and objectives and see what's outdated or obsolete, and change those policies accordingly. Next slide, please. So basically, at that time, there was an overarching goal of the city to become a successful and financially stable full-service community. So that was the overall arching goal within the comprehensive plan. Next slide, please. And basically, the comprehensive plan, and I know you all have looked at it, and you may have had some future land use amendments or map amendments by now. So basically, the comprehensive plan is your 30,000 foot high document, some overarching policies, general locations of different uses within the city. So it sets certain parameters. And the next slide, please. And within that document, you have these designations. And again, as I said, they're general parameters: single family, multifamily, or commercial or industrial. So again, that sets an overall tone of what is where within the city. Next slide, please. And so this is your future land use map as it currently exists. So again, we will look at all of these things within the comprehensive plan and see what needs to be changed. Next slide, please. So these are just informational. The next two are just informational slides. So we've talked about the comprehensive plan. You're probably more familiar with your land development regulations. So again, comprehensive plan, future land use designations have within them certain zoning districts. So now we're getting down, zoning gets down to more of nitty gritty, setting the standards whereby you review developments on these standards. Next slide, please. Again, the future land use map and the zoning map look fairly similar. But again, I mean, the zoning district map shows more districts. So now I just want to get into our project. We were approved last year to, next slide, please. We were approved, the contract was approved last year. So as part of this very intensive, several month-long process, basically it's probably going to take to July or so for final adoption, because we're going to have a workshop with a public and you all. We have to go to the planning board, and you will see the document twice to get it fully adopted. So what we want to do is set up a great workshop at some point, either at night or on a weekend. And last time we did it on a weekend, I believe, at least one time, to get the public involved in this process. So we want to make it interactive with the public and you all, and make it fun. That's the bottom line. Let's get everyone involved to see where or how we want Opa-locka to grow and what the vision is for the future. Next slide, please. So within the comprehensive plan, we're going to be looking at certain buzzwords or adding things that the state really wants to see, or other agencies like Miami-Dade County, the Regional Planning Council, the South Florida Water Management District. So we will be looking at sustainability, property rights, which is now required by Florida statute. We will update your water supply plan. And I actually worked on the last one. So we have to get that cleaned up and adopted also. Any changes in economic development and redevelopment that you choose your vision will make changes. And then we also look at the growth of the city in terms of population and commercial or industrial. We look at what's happening and try to, again, plan for the future. Next slide, please. So this is a little hard to read, but it's basically, we have a number of tasks to get through. So today is, I would call this task one. We started task two, which is data collection. But we're reviewing things behind the scenes, but this is the formal kickoff. And again, as I said, we'll have through the process workshop and visioning to get us to where we need to be. So basically the schedule, as I said, we'll have two readings before you. One is the first reading to look at the document, any changes in the document, then we have to ship it off to Tallahassee and other agencies for their review and comment. When it's all cleaned up and pretty, we'll bring it back for your adoption. So again, we're looking at hopefully July to wrap this up. And it depends on the numerous factors, how many comments we get back. But that's the plan right now. So with that, I'll wrap it up. Next slide, please. That's my information, my contact information. So anyone who needs to reach out to me or wants to reach out to me, I'm more than happy to answer any questions. And of course, your staff, Mr. Gay and Mr. Lee, will also be available to assist in this project.
Okay. Do we have any questions in regard to the comprehensive plan?
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly?
thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Couple of questions. Since you've been at this since 2015 and going forward, how much of the comp plan would you say has been really initiated or put in place?
That would be a question for Mr. Gay, I believe, because he.
I really can't hear you.
Yeah, Mr. Gay, I know he's told me that there have been some changes and you have changed your map, your future land use map. I know some policies have been achieved, but I don't know off the bat since I've not been here and been dealing with this daily.
So as a part of your process, I guess you'll get with the manager and the staff to.
Yes.
I'd like to know kind of what that is, what is taking place. And in terms of your public engagement that's listed here, your public outreach, have you done any recently, or is still based, this is based on when you began earlier?
Well, basically, this is the kickoff. Today, as I said, I wanted to introduce myself. So now the rubber meets the road. We're going to be starting to put things together for public outreach, email, mail blasts, whatever we need to do. We have public engagement team working with me to help in this endeavor. So I just remember from 7 years ago, I think it was very successful. We had a good turnout because we had a number of them in this room. So I'm looking forward to seeing the same amount of input from the public again.
And in terms of, last question, Mr. Mayor, and in terms of the plan where you are now, and I guess you said you got to get with Mr. Gay through the manager staff, because I've seen a document reference a downtown master plan. Is this integrated with that or with that in mind? Or
It will be. I've seen it. I'm not that familiar with it. It's different from the concept plan that we did in 2017. The master plan, I think, came in later.
say it again?
The master plan came in later. It wasn't our concept plan that we started the conversation on downtown with in 2015. I believe the master plan was a later, different document.
But the master plan is, in your opinion, a working document that you're going to use as you go forward?
Indeed. We will incorporate anything in the master plan for downtown that needs to be in here.
Well, that's why I'm asking that question. So
Yeah.
you plan to do that. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No problem. Any other questions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Williams? I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Good evening. Thank you
Good
so much for being here, and Happy New Year. Quick question. What's the time frame for the completion of this new plan?
It's very aggressive. Okay, so the state wants us to have it all done by the end of June. That's not going to happen. They know that. We want to get to you for first reading by the end of June. Then it's basically a 60-day period, a comment period by different agencies, which is the DEO at the state, the FDOT, the Regional Planning Council, Water Management District, the county. All these agencies will look at this document, and they have 60 days to review it. Once all that is done and cleaned up in the document, we'll bring it back for adoption.
Okay. And my next question, I'm not sure if you can answer this or maybe staff. This is from 2015, and I know the downtown master plan is a more recent document and a plan that's been worked on in recent years. My question is this plan is in the CRA district, correct, Mr. Delay? Did I see him come in? Is he here? I didn't, oh, okay, he's over there. So my question is, how does this connect? I know with the downtown master plan, there was some connection to the businesses and those areas in the downtown. Thank you, Mr. Gabe, you can answer. But where's the connection and how is this connected, this plan connected to our CRA, if there's any? If there isn't, then that would be the answer.
I believe the question is, yeah, we know of the CRA. And as I stated, anything in the master plan for downtown that we see fit to use in this document, if it's relevant to comprehensive planning, some things may not be, but whatever is in there and we could use, we'll transfer it over and make reference to this. Because one thing, I'm not sure exactly when the master plan was done for downtown, but I know it's within the last couple of years. So we'll reference the master plan 2018, 2019. So it's in this document. So
Okay.
there's a connection.
And so I think Mr. Delane, okay.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, Vice Mayor, Corian Delane, Opa-locka CRA Manager. The downtown master plan was completed in 2021, and that was an initiative of the CRA. The activity that we're doing with the update of the comprehensive plan is looking at the city's comprehensive plan, looking at the overall city. So the two documents are separate. However, what they'll be utilizing is looking at elements of the downtown master plan, and they will incorporate it into the comprehensive
Yes.
plan.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was my question. Is there an overlap of within that CRA district of the downtown master plan within this conference? Because that's what I'm saying is
Yeah.
it's kind of an interchangeable documentation. So thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, Gregory Gay, just to kind of further explain as we go through this evaluation and appraisal report process, some of the things that we were actually involved with as it relates to the updating and creation of the downtown master plan, we're going to be doing that citywide. So it's going to be looking at not just the downtown area, not just the areas that are incorporated within the CRA, but all areas that are within the boundaries of the city of Opa-locka. So we'll be looking at all commercial corridors, not just the downtown area. We'll be looking at all the residential areas and all of the industrial areas and trying to see where there may be some policies and procedural things that were a part of the original comprehensive master plan that needs to be modified, updated, and brought into current terms so that we will be able to move forward and grow our city overall.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
Commissioner Williams,
Yes, I'm done. Thank you.
any other questions? All righty, thank you for coming out tonight. They asked all my questions, so I'm good. Thank you
Great.
for
We'll see you,
coming out
we'll see you
tonight.
soon. Thank you so much.
No problem. Madam Clerk, could you please read into records the rules for citizens forum?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. City of Opa-locka Commission meetings are held in person at Shabandi Village Auditorium, 215 Purvis Avenue, Opa-locka, Florida. Members of the public wishing to address the commission may do so in person or virtually. Those persons wishing to participate virtually should register prior to the scheduled meeting time on the city's website at www.opalockafl.gov. When speaking before the commission, please make sure to give your full name and address for the record. There is a 3-minute time limit for public comments. Please adhere to the decorum policy, which is a part of the commission meeting agenda. City commission meetings are aired through live stream at www.youtube.com/user/City of Opa-locka. And Mr. Mayor, at this time, there are no public, virtual public comments.
Okay, citizens forum is open.
I'm going. I need to repeat that.
My name is Celia Pruitt. I reside at 2350 Northwest 141 Street. Happy New Year to each and every one of you. It has been brought to my attention recently, and I was a little furious about it, and I had to pray about it before I come up here. That you are supposed to be seeking and voting to recruit a new city manager. We have gone through this phase for years. And at the end, we bring people in, they are trained, and they need to know and learn the ropes. And then they need to get familiar with the citizens, and then a revolving door occurs. We can't bring that into 2023. We don't have the time nor the money. And this is my tax dollars that's being wasted. I am happy with the city manager that we currently have. I've got to know him. I've gotten to trust him, just as you all. I trust you all. I put my faith in you, just like I'm putting my faith in him. And we need to take him from a status of interim city manager to permanent. And we need to get to work and get this city where it needs to go and where it can be amazing. Over the holidays, I witnessed a lot of new residents, Black and white, Latinos, everyone enjoying the canal banks with their young children. They had their fishing poles, and it was so nice to see. Everybody just, and people talking to each other and just having a good time. Okay, we need to get to work and start getting the necessary equipment and tools needed to get those canals. We need those nets where you can reach in and just grab whatever debris in there and start ordering some waste baskets that can go along the canal banks to encourage our young people and old to have a place not to put it on the ground, but to be able to put it in the waste basket. Let's get this city and get our house cleaned up and stop wasting this unnecessary time and money on foolishness. That's all it is. And this has been going on for 10 to 15 years. We bring people in and you're still not satisfied. And I want to see my tax dollars at work. I want to be able to go around and view things and say, well, my taxes paid for that. At this point, I can't do that. And we have other neighboring cities around us that are constantly out there working on the roads, doing this and doing that. And we're just a little community and we just can't seem to get it right. This is what we elect you into office. And I'm here to make myself available to you all. So wherever you need, I'm here to support you, even if I have to go door to door to my neighbors, because I've been in my neighborhood going on 52 years. So they're familiar with me and my family. They trust me. And they know that I do things in order. And whatever I say, I mean. And I can back it up. Trust me.
Yes, ma'am.
But this witch hunt needs to stop. And let's get to what we need to do, and let's get to work, and we have to do this as soon as possible. I need to see some changes made. I just paid a substantial amount of taxes, and I'm never late. So I need to see my dollars at work. And let's be able to vote this young man as our permanent city manager so we can all work together as a team. Because there's no I in team. Not that I remember. And I've been in banking almost 30-something years. And we learn how to work together to make things happen and satisfy our customers. So I need you all to satisfy me.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Pruitt. We got you.
And I'm serious.
Yes, ma'am, we got you.
Y'all know how to do this. Hello, how y'all doing? Give me your name. Give me your name and your address. Ready? 13815 Northwest 23rd Avenue, Opa-locka, Florida. Okay. Thank you. Now going forward, and I'd like to commend Commissioner Kelly for the Meet Me Monday for bringing that back. I prayed about that. But we need to bring prayer before we even start doing anything. And whatever issues you have with each other, leave it at the door, because you're not bringing nobody home to your table. We're here to work and work with the citizens, and I can get them on board, and we can come up with ideas to make our city amazing. And that's what I want to see, and that's what I expect to see. And I don't mind coming up here every Wednesday to get in some good trouble. And I'm trying to hold it together right now because I'm really, really ticked off at this moment. But I expect you all to vote and to do it the right way. But he cannot do it by himself. It takes all of you all to do your job, what we elected you to do. Not just one person. That goes for you. Everybody needs to get involved and make it do what it do. Make it make sense. Thank you very much. Oh, one more thing. I need to commend Ms. Wilcox and her staff for making it happen on that issue that I had from down the street. It's beautiful. So I need to applaud her and her staff because they listened to me, they didn't cut me off, and they did what they needed to do. So thank you very much. And our police department. Thank you. Now I can sit down.
Citizens Forum is still open.
Good evening. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy birthday to some. We shared a birthday. I'd like to speak regarding several items that some were pulled. And I really thought that they might have been deferred or one have been deferred, but it wasn't. So first I'd like to speak regarding Commissioner Kelly's starting the process of looking for a new city manager. I think that he is aware that when he was appointed as interim city manager, that it was temporary. It was for 9 months. He had a project that he was going to start. He knew that it would have been in conflict. So he's aware that he couldn't be here that long. Now, I include myself because I think we failed as a commissioners and mayor not bringing the process sooner as far as trying to look for a city manager. Now, I also noticed that he's brought in a resolution to look for an RFP. Now, that's going to cost money, advertisement, getting an a company, and then after they find a company, they're going to be a selection committee. Now, who's in this selection committee? It consists of the city personnel. So how is it that the city manager is going to be looking for a permanent city manager when he should not be involved? I think he should not be involved and let the process go through. And it should not be done through staff, because I know they do scoring, and whoever's selected, I know they're going to score them really low. So I think that should not be done. We should continue with the process that Commissioner Kelly brought about, which is not going to cost us. It's going to be advertised through the League of Cities, through the city clerk. And I just want us to move the city forward. There's been a lot of employees that are not happy, staff that have told me about their situation, that they're not happy. A lot have quit. A lot have been terminated. So that should say a lot about what's going on in the city. Let me see what else. I also like to know Where are we? Well, this will be for the city manager eventually when he goes to his briefing. Where are we with the audits? 2021, 2022. I just hope that the commission does the right thing regarding these two items. We definitely need stability. Yes, we do. But I cannot support someone that clearly stated himself at one of the meetings that there was someone that brought in, sent in information regarding his background, and he didn't have a background check, and come to find out he had some charges in on himself. So,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner,
thank you.
yes, ma'am. Citizens Forum is still open.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Holden, 200 Purvis Avenue. And I'm here because Mr. Darvin Williams, you are very good. You've been doing very good for Opa-locka. He needs a position here. We don't need to go out looking for no other managers to fulfill his spot. And Commissioner Kelly, you did very, very bad at the last meeting. That's what brought me here. So I want to know with you, why are you back?
We're gonna ask that you not address,
That,
no, not address him directly. Just keep it broad and
okay,
so
keep
we
it
don't.
broad.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, now I would like to know too, why are you back? And also with the trees that's planted within Opa-locka, they were dead when they were planted. And if you cut that little black strip, plastic, that's a rubber that's holding it up, it will fall completely down on the ground. Why can't we get palm trees? Palm trees, beautification, very nice. Miami Garden has it, Opa-locka needs to have it. Now, with the position of one of the commissioners having an event, and I feel like if you can't lift your leg to step up to a step, then maybe that event wasn't for you. Maybe it wasn't for you to go. Okay, now I want to know also, because I've seen this several times in the parking lot. Why is it that people from the clerk's office have to come downstairs to a particular truck and present paperwork? I see it, I feel again, if you can't walk out from your truck to go into the building, why are you here? Why are you here? This man is doing a great job with what he's doing, getting monies for Opa-locka continuously. We need beautification. We need buildings put up. We need housing for everybody's apartment buildings. Okay, with this job event that is going to take place, everything, if you can advertise for a pool party, then on Facebook, it pops up on my phone, then advertise Facebook. Facebook, you have Hot 105 who had an event in Broward, job event, very big. Advertise a Hot 105. Let's get it rolling. Don't just, why is it that this one person have to present all these emails and everything? It wasn't like that before. We want to hear what's going on in Opa-locka. We want to hear. The people of Opa-locka want to hear what's going on.
Yes, ma'am.
Not just have emails. Come give me your 3 minutes so I can finish this up.
Willie Nico at 2080 Lincoln Avenue, apartment number 4.
So this is what brought me here, because it doesn't make sense at all. Okay, to just pounce on this one person at a meeting, that's bad. It doesn't look good. And with the person holding their hand up to the face, then you tell me it's a glare. It's no glare tonight, so why was you doing that last meeting? It just didn't make sense to me. Very unprofessional. Get it together. We are here to make this work and make Opa-locka look like something. We tired of it looking bad. We're not going backwards, we're going forward.
Citizens Forum is still open. Citizens Forum is closed. Madam Clerk,
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly.
I'd like to respond to some of the citizens, especially when you call my name repeatedly. Please, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Let me go back to, and I'll talk more about it in the item. I think there's a misconception about the item I have, and I'll explain it more when I get to the actual item. That's on the agenda. To Ms. Dominguez with the audits, I have inquired about that and quite sure it'll be coming forward and addressed. With regard to Ms. Holden, the great part about America is we all have the right to have our opinion. And I value yours just like everybody else's. When you pulled up on the side of my vehicle and really just berated me, I let you say everything you want to say. You called the office. You were very disrespectful to them from what I'm told. I called you and asked you, was anything you wanted me to talk to me about? You said, no, I'll see you in the meeting because I'll get it straight. You've had your 3 minutes. I welcome you to come to every meeting and get involved with beautification, housing, because this commissioner is going to be involved in all of that. I don't know how you know about emails, so I guess somebody's telling you. I email because I want documentation. I want it in black and white. I don't trust just verbal. So in terms of that, there have been times where I do have clerk's office may come down to bring something because I'm in a rush, but I'm glad you're keeping an eye. I want you to keep an eye on everything that this commission is doing because I'm here for the people, always will be for the people, and I don't back down on anything, but I welcome your excitement. I welcome your energy. Hope to see you meet me Monday. Beautification, hope to see you involved. We have the housing initiative workshops, hope to see you there. Because I'm going to be here. And like one citizen said, it's going to take all of us to get it together and do it. And this commissioner will be here day and night. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. I don't see that there's no one else that want to comment. Madam Clerk, I would like to go back. I do see District 2 in the house. So I do want to, oh, sorry, Citizens Forum is closed. We did do that. So I want to give District 2 an opportunity to speak on tonight, if that's okay with my colleagues. Okay, that's okay. So District 2, you have the floor.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City Attorney. Thank you for the opportunity for us. My name is Anthony Bonamy. I'm the legislative aide for Marlene Bastian, Commissioner of Miami-Dade County District 2. We have a small part of your city, and we just wanted to make sure we were here to actually introduce ourselves and make sure that anything that you may need, that we have the ability to provide it. So if there's any assistance that you need from the county, District 1 had a chance to speak. We're here working alongside of you guys to make sure that you guys receive everything that you need. And I want to also thank the mayor for inviting us as well. He did reach out to our office and let us know. And I want to also leave by saying Happy New Year's to everyone. And I'm looking forward to getting more involved with the community and learning all your needs as well. Thank you so much, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Anthony, could you leave your card with the clerk so that we can give them to the commission?
We don't have cards yet.
Or give them your email then.
We don't have cards yet, but I will share it when we do have cards, and I'll make sure we at least schedule a meeting with every single commissioner to at the very least introduce our office. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem. So thank you to District 1 and for District 2 for answering the call and coming to our commission meeting. Madam Attorney, we're ready to start business.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, establishing a search committee consistent with the City of Opa-locka Code of Ordinances, Section 2-8.4, providing for incorporation recitals, providing for effective date. This is sponsored by Commissioner Kelly.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kelly, second by Vice Mayor Irvin. Can we get an introduction on this item, Commissioner Kelly?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. As was stated earlier, and I think there's some misconception, so let me just clarify it. The process that this commission laid out, which is in document form, was via a resolution that was passed in April of last year. And it's public document sponsored by the commission, appointing the current interim city manager. And it was specific at a special meeting on April 5th, 2022, where they terminated one manager and brought in the current interim city manager. As a part of that document, it is clear, it says, whereas the city commission desires to appoint Darvin Williams as interim city manager to serve for a term not to exceed 9 months, starting on April 5th, 2022, and requiring a national search for the appointment of a permanent city manager. When I got back in office, that had not been done. No search had been done. Nothing had been done to effectuate this resolution. We are past the 9 months. This item, let me say for the record, for any city to be a viable organization, to be successful, you have to have someone as the leader. In this case, day-to-day, the city manager. And let me say up front, this is not something for or against the current interim city manager. It has nothing to do with him personally. Nothing. It is simply following the code ordinances of the city and the previous resolution passed back in April of last year. Why nothing had been done since then, I don't know. This legislation directs the city clerk to engage the appropriate entities and agencies to provide a document that can be presented to the commission to approve. There is no dollars involved in this at this point. It simply starts the process to do what the code requires. It's starting the process that is required by the oversight board if we're going to have a permanent city manager. It does not preclude Mr. Williams from applying for the position. He can do that. And if 3 folks up here decide he should be the manager, he would be the manager. This is the process. And we cannot have a permanent city manager until we go through this process. It has nothing to do with the person. It has to do with the position. It's in our code. It's in legislation passed by the previous commission, and it's right here in document form. It's nothing Commissioner Kelly's made up. It's nothing that he doesn't like or dislike the current city manager. It is to get a permanent manager. And after this process, and he applies and goes through this process in the commission, at least 3 folks are to decide, he can be the permanent manager. But our code and the process does not allow to just make him the city manager. Can't do it. The code requires, and this resolution requires it. Why it was not done, why it was not started prior to now, I don't know. We're at 9 months. The reality is, the current manager could walk out the door today because he's actually fulfilled his obligation on the 9 months. Now, you're probably not going to do that, but we have to start the process. And the process begins with allowing the clerk to go to the agencies and entities, Florida legal cities and others, get a document, bring back to this commission, that we can use to start the process. Whatever this commission decides to do in terms of how that process will go is a commission decision. But we cannot have a permanent city manager without going through this process. It has nothing to do with individual. And please be clear, I heard that stated, you know, I don't like the manager, and this has nothing to do with whether I like or dislike the manager. It is the process that has to be carried out for this city to have a permanent city manager. And in my opinion, should have been done way before now, for whatever reason it wasn't. Here we are now in January 11. This document says something should have occurred really 9 months leading up to now. That's where we are. I'm asking my colleagues to support the item so we can start the process to get a permanent city manager, whomever that may be. We can't be interim forever. You don't have football coach interim forever. You don't have anybody interim. There has to be somebody permanent. We have to follow the process. We have to follow the code as it's laid out. And if you want to see the document, it's public record. I didn't make it up. It goes back to April 5th of 2022. And so that is why the legislation is on the agenda. And I would just say to my colleagues, the reason I'm going this route and recommending, I'm not really in favor of a firm to spend months and money. I think this commission, with all of our insight, knowledge, wisdom, and skills that we bring, can do this and lessen the cost to the taxpayers. Because one citizen pointed out, we spent thousands and thousands of dollars on search firms and whatever. I'm not for that. I'm for getting the process we're going to use, and we serve as that committee, make the decision, how we're going to hire, so that we can move the city forward in a permanent fashion. I've been around long enough to know, even with staff, when you're intern, it's contingent on 3 votes and how the wind blows on a given day. And if we can move the city forward in a long-term fashion, comprehensive plan, master plan, whatever it may be, you have to have some permanency. This legislation starts that process. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have any questions.
We open up for discussion. Anyone?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Williams?
Yes, thank you so much. A lot was said, and if I'm afforded the opportunity to unpack some of the statements that was said, not only during Citizens Forum, but on the dais. I would like to say that I pulled the legislation to ask a few questions, but before I ask my questions, I would like to go back and respond to unpack the statement. Yes, there are currently 3 members that are sitting up here that did pass that legislation, write that legislation, and approved it. So I want to be clear, when the statement was said, I don't know why it was not presented. Let's be clear. My goal at the time of being mayor was for us to, and this is me personally, was for us as a commission, new commission, to decide or to come up with the process, not for during an election cycle. So that's why, and I want to make sure I answer the question, because it also had a little bite and teeth to the comment. And I want to be clear that for me was why it was not brought. So if that was a problem, then we know moving forward that we'll make sure before an election cycle, we get it done. Secondly, also, Mr. Commissioner Kelly, the question, the reason why I pulled the document was the 7th whereas within the resolution says within 7 days, the city commission hereby authorizes the city clerk to engage. And I'm going to say this, I'm reading the line that I'm sure everyone else can read, but I'm going to read it for statement, on the record. It's vague. And because it's vague, that's what, I won't say gives me pause, bothers me. Because I like to sit in, I don't like black and white. I like to sit in a land of where we are, not gray. And to me, this line is very gray. Whereas within 7 days, the city commission hereby authorizes the city clerk to engage. So the word engage is vague with the Florida League of Cities, the Florida City and County Management Association, and other similar group or other similar group, there's another vague term, to obtain a viable solicitation document, there's another vague term, that can be utilized for the search of a permanent city manager. So my question is, where was the conversation by the dais that we're going to, which of course we would engage, I'm assuming by communicating, emailing, having a discussion with, but it just says engage, with the Florida League of Cities. However, there are 3 other League of Cities, Florida City, County Management Association, or other similar groups. My goal, Mr. Mayor, and this is to you, and also to the commission, is that we all have a share and a say in who we engage with. Not just because it's here, but who's the engaging parties that we're going to engage with. We, as a commission, need to have the authority, as well as some hearsay within the engaging parties. That's my first thing. So that's the part that I think we need to be clear. Also, it says the city clerk will engage. I would like to know, what is that? What does that look like? What does that look like for the clerk? And what does this viable solicitation document? Again, very vague, that comment. So I'm stuck with not understanding how to move forward with this legislation. And then because I want to, again, I don't live in gray areas. It needs to be black, it needs to be white. Second, it's in our charter. It is in our charter to have a search, to have a committee, whether that committee be someone that we appoint or be the commission. It's in our charter. So I want to be clear that it's not something that any one person is doing, but that is something that's written, and it is there. And when we say a national search, that is also in our charter. It's not about money or finances. That's also in our charter. If you don't mind, Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, if I can engage. Thank you so much. The city attorney, Miss Attorney, if you can let us know, so that I just want to make sure that the public and everyone know, because what I'm hearing, what I've been hearing, is a lot of miscommunication and a lot of missteps. When we talk about charter and we're talking about a search, in our charter, yes, I guess it's a yes or no question. Do we have to do a national search?
It is in a code provision, but let me just back up, because if you don't mind,
Yeah,
through the
no,
mayor. At the last meeting, this issue was brought before the commission. Commissioner Kelly did say he would be working with the city attorney's office to create the legislation that he was bringing forward as a future agenda item. I met with Commissioner Kelly. Commissioner Kelly gave an idea of what he wanted to do. He didn't want to have a committee. He wanted the committee to be the commission, because that is allowed for in the legislation that you're speaking of. And the idea with the search, it wasn't to be vague. It was actually to be a tool. So for the clerk to collect a tool and bring the tool back to the next commission meeting. So it says to bring back no later than January 25th or before to you all, a tool, because there are tools that are out there. And I know this from just experience with the the League of Cities, they have tools, the managers associations, they have tools, and other entities that deal with governmental entities have tools. And so it wasn't to select so much a tool, but to bring it back to you all for consideration. So that was the idea. And I think Commissioner Kelly, from my discussions with him, wanted to leave it open as broadly as possible. And so that's the way it was written, so that it could be broad and a tool can be brought back. Obviously, you all would have to approve the tool, so the city clerk would not be making any decisions about what tool would be utilized. She would be bringing forth ideas of what is standard industry practice for you all to consider. So it wasn't meant to be convoluted or anything like that. I think
Oh, no, I'm not saying
Commissioner
that.
Kelly can speak for himself.
No, I'm
but-
not saying that.
Mm.
What I'm saying, and I know you probably, the reason why you're speaking on it is you probably gave those entities. However, what I'm saying is I would like to see, when I see other similar group, that does seem vague. That's just to me. And so other similar group decided by commission, other similar group that the commission, there's no language here that we can then have a group, perhaps our mayor or one of our commissioners will find a group that we can have our clerk go out and seek to find that tool. That's what I would like to see.
That can certainly be.
Specific. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Added to the legislation if it's.
But that actually wasn't my question to you, though. So my question was about the national search.
Okay, so looking at your code, I can just pull it up in your code and tell you. It is within section 2-8.4 of the city's code, and it talks about a search committee. And with respect to the search committee, it does reference a national search. Now, what is being done, it is not precluded by, and well, let me make sure that's the case. Soliciting, screening, but it is not precluded. What you're doing, the process that you're using doesn't preclude a national search.
Oh,
You
no,
can-
I know it has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I'm answering the question. It was said that we, spend money, and what I'm saying is, is it in our charter that has to be done?
Yes, it is in C of that
Okay,
section that
that's
I
what I
just
thought.
quoted.
Okay.
And it was also in the resolution that was
Okay.
passed
Thank you.
pertaining to the interim city
Okay.
manager.
That was the question. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No problem. Any other discussion on this item?
No, I'm not.
Mayor?
Dr. Bass?
Not a discussion. I just wanted to say, based on what we were just told from the city manager, I'm sorry, the attorney, as it relates to the resolution that we did in April and the code, we have to do a national search. It's not about dollars, it's about getting what's best for Opa-locka. And speaking for myself, I can only hope and pray that our current interim city manager applies for the job.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Okay,
I know you want to vote.
say it again.
I know you want to get ready.
No, actually, I wanted to say
No,
something.
go.
But if you
Okay,
have something to
no,
say, go
no,
ahead.
no, go.
Okay.
Go on.
Looking at the resolution, I see where Commissioner Kelly's coming from, that gives the power to the commission to select the manager. But I do want to ask, because the same concerns that Commissioner Williams brought up, I had those concerns too. Are you okay with doing a friendly amendment to add that language that the commission can approve her to that whereas column?
I didn't understand your question. I couldn't hear your question.
Okay. I had the same concerns about the whereas column being very vague. And because it looked like from where it stands, reading it, that the clerk was the one that was going to select which way we go. And I got clarity during the agenda briefing, but I just wanted to know, did you have a problem with changing the language to say that it will be chosen by the commission?
I don't have a problem. Well,
Okay,
maybe I misunderstood. The item calls for the clerk to really get the information and bring it to the commission. It's not designed And if the wording is incorrect, the attorney can add the language that will give you a comfort level. Only thing the clerk is doing is, in my opinion, saving us some money
Okay,
by receiving these templates, because as the attorney mentioned, all of us are aware, all of these organizations have templates you can use for searches. The clerk doing it will allow us to save some money on the front end, just in case we do have to spend any money later on as a part of this process. When you get all of the, whatever the commission may decide they want to add something else and do something different than some of these templates allow. That's the only thing the clerk is doing in the 7 days, is because we need to get some traction on it. But if you got some language you want to put in there that gives you a comfort level that the commission brings back a template or brings back whatever, I have no problem. We have to get the process started. That's all I'm trying to do. And normally, in the past, the clerk has been used in her office to receive, to do things in order to help and aid the city. And that's the only reason I said that, because in my opinion, I'll do it on the other item. A city manager who's currently there shouldn't have anything to do with a process, especially as has been encouraged, and rightfully so, if he wants to apply, he shouldn't have anything to do with this process. So the clerk would be the only other option of an outside that we, give direction to. But Madam Attorney, there's some language, Mr. Mayor, that you want to put in there. I have no problem. We just need to get the process going.
okay. I only asked that to make myself feel comfortable as well as Commissioner Williams. So I just, because the way he laid it out, I agree. It gives the power to the commission for us to choose who we want. And if, like, if I'm not opposed to Mr. Williams applying. So if he applies, all for it, but it gives us the opportunity to choose the employee. So I just want to make sure that what is being expressed is reflected on the resolution. That's, so can we do that tonight?
If I may, if you're asking me the question, whatever you all want, this does not deal with the selection process. This just deals with really just getting a tool, just
Got it.
getting something for you to bring back to consider. So you're far away from,
Okay,
doing the selection.
Okay.
This is just, these tools are available. There's a lot of them out there. She can probably collect 2, 3, 4, whatever, maybe some of them are duplicative. So maybe she'll bring the best, however many to you all will look at them. And I'm assuming she probably will bring them maybe even before the commission meeting. So you'll take a look at them, you'll be able to consider. But Commissioner Kelly's concern was that we move forward with the process. And so the idea was that she collects them within 7 days. She then will bring them back and you all will then look at it. You're not even at the selection point at all.
okay.
You still have to
Mr. Mayor.
choose a
And-
tool.
And Madam Attorney, if by any chance both of these items pass, what does that look like?
If both of the items pass, they will be in conflict. And so the manager may have some additional information that he shared with me that he wants to share with you all. So I'll leave it to him to do that.
Okay, Commissioner Williams had a.
Real quick. Yes. So I know we know this legislation has nothing to do with the search. It's clear that it's a tool, but I want to make sure that if we also find a tool ourselves, that it's not solely in the hands of just one person, the clerk. So that's why I wanted to be a little bit more extensive, cast the fishing net a little bit wider, because we all know organizations or have other people that have organizations. So that's why when I only saw those 3, I want to make sure that each person up here is able to cast a wider net for other tools, and the legislation only has one person, which is clerk. So that's why I would wanted to, and that's why I called it vague, is to make sure that that net is cast by all of us and not just to sit in one person's hand. And also, I also want to make it very clear is that we all, every one of us up here, and I especially included, is we all know how important this is not just one person thinks is super important. We all know that the importance of having a manager not just an interim manager, is going to move our city. So we all want to make sure that this process is done with the utmost fairness and again, black and white as possible. Thank you.
Okay, so hearing no more discussion, I don't know, do we have any, Madam Clerk, are we ready to vote?
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Bath, Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor,
Yes,
motion passes 5-0.
Madam Attorney, 13-3.
3.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, approving issuance of a request for proposals, RFP, for executive recruitment services for city manager, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
Can I get a motion?
I'll move the item for discussion.
Moved by Commissioner Kelly,
Second.
second by Commissioner Williams. Mr. Manager, can you introduce this item?
Absolutely, Mr. Mayor. The last permanent city manager for the city of Opa-locka was City Manager Pate. City Manager Pate was brought to the city by a executive search, a national executive search on a piggyback contract with the city of Weston. Upon reviewing the charter and seeing the requirement for a national search, my staff, we began to look for a piggyback contract within the state of Florida by which we could initiate this process. Finding none, that we are now required to bring forth this RFP for a national search firm and for clarification on the item if it's not clear enough in the reading. The search committee is the commission. Now, the commission, if it wills, can choose someone else to sit on his or her behalf on the committee. But the search committee is not involved the city manager or any staff of the city. The search committee, as by the charter, is the commission. And again, the commission can select someone to sit on his or her behalf. But the search committee is the commission. That's the charter. And a resolution could not pass that would be in violation of our charter. That is the exact same piggyback contract that the city of Weston utilized for us to bring in City Manager Pate. And that is the exact RFP language that we have here today. And further, for those that understand the RFP process, the city manager, at least this city manager, is not involved in the RFP process. I have been here for 9 months. I have never sit in on an RFP. I've not gotten involved in an RFP, and oftentimes, once someone is selected out of the RFP process, the first time that I see it is when the resolution is being prepared by my staff. And I've never had a recommendation that was against a recommendation of the RFP committee. If there are any other questions regarding this item, I stand at the ready.
The floor is open for discussion. Mr. Commissioner Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I'm very surprised to see a city manager proffering an item that entails his own position. That's number one. But be that as it may, I mentioned at the last meeting that I'll be bringing this item forward. So to even see a item on here dealing with this was kind of challenging to me. There are certain responsibilities of the commission in selecting a city manager is one of them. When you look at this item, it's really dictated by the interim manager because the decision, as was stated by one of my colleagues, to make sure the commission has the power, the decision on how many candidates would be selected, the amount of money spent on advertising as a part of this, and even in section 4.1 of this document, the selection committee consists of city personnel who will convene, review, and discuss all proposals. How can you have your own staff again, does not preclude the interim manager from applying. That's the beauty of the American dream. He can apply, but you can't apply or be possibly a part of a process, and yet the city personnel is the one going to do the canvassing, convening, reviewing, and discussing all proposals. And who would even decide on who the committee would be from the staff? Obviously, it would be from the manager. I think we clearly need to just go with the item that's passed. I pulled it because if I didn't pull it and it got to consent and passed, then it would be two competing resolutions. I think we've started out on the right track with the previous resolution. And again, it's not anything directed to the current interim manager. He can apply, but to have this item where staff would be involved at this level is not something I think we should do. And we're going to be offering it up to other candidates potentially from all over the country. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other discussion on this item? No other discussion. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Williams,
I have a question. I'm so sorry. Can we pause the vote? Madam Clerk?
Madam,
I'm sorry?
she has a question, so we're gonna open the discussion back up.
Okay. that's
Okay.
fine.
Thank you. Earlier I heard something about the two items competing against each other. Madam Attorney, can you give me a
Yes, through the mayor. As Commissioner Kelly just read, the section 4.4-1, which talks about selection committee. The selection committee, it says, if you're looking at the item, that it consists of city personnel will convene, review, and discuss all proposals submitted. And it says a selection committee. So the selection committee includes city staff, and that's inconsistent with what, was said or what you all approved earlier and what was said by the manager. So, and you can also look at some contradictory language also in 4-2, which is right below it.
Mr. Mayor,
One second, Mr. Manager. Commissioner Williams still has the floor.
no, I would like to hear it. If he has something to say.
Okay,
Okay.
Mr. Manager?
thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Commissioner. This item is the language that we found to serve the city that is utilized by several other cities here in the state of Florida. This is not a process, and this is not language that was invented by the city manager's office. When we discuss personnel reviewing proposals, we're reviewing proposals for the company that is going to work for you. The commission, the search committee. Yes. And if the commission decides that they want to have the contract to see more candidates, that's the will of the commission. If the commission decides that they want to extend it longer for the search committee, that's the will of the commission. This is to hire a company that will work for the commission, as it was done with Mr. Pate, which some of you were involved in that process, and as other cities that have done it, for clarification.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Manager, Mr. Mayor. Back to the attorney. Through the mayor. Through the mayor, if that's okay, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
Okay. So according to our Mr. Manager, this was done prior to Mr. Pate. Was that
No, this was not what was used to my knowledge. Mr. Pate, there was as the manager said earlier today, there was I guess they must have piggybacked
A piggyback
a
contract.
process. So this was
Who's
not
the
used
they?
for Mr.
That's the
Pate.
part I'm not, I'm trying to.
The city commission decided that they
So can somebody
previously.
tell me, because I wasn't here when it happened, so I'm trying to get some clarity, and it's hard for me to vote on this or not vote on it or make sound judgment based off. did the
what-
commission, and I know Commissioner Kelly and Commissioner Bass was here. Did the commission create the RFP for a national search, or did it come from the previous manager before Mr. Pate?
There was I'm not sure what the manager said this was taken from, but it wasn't Opa-locka the last time. Okay, so what happened, what they did previously was there was a Colin Basinger, his firm was selected to do a national search, and they did this search, and he did it pursuant to his own process. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Selected by who?
Well, the commission always decides. The commission is always.
Okay, because you're the cart is before the horse. My question is, did the commission, did one of our commissioners at the time create a resolution for a RFP for a search, a manager search national committee? Or did that come at the time, and I believe you were here, did that come from that particular manager or interim manager prior to Mr. Pate?
It would not have come from the interim manager. You had a search firm that was hired that did a process. Maybe the city clerk would probably be in a better position to tell you.
Yeah, okay. Madam Clerk, can you? Through the mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So at that time, the city of Opa-locka had brought forth a resolution to piggyback off the city of Weston process that they did for a city manager. And the individual that did that was Basinger. And that's who the city of Opa-locka piggyback off at that time to do the process, to go out for a search and bring back resumes. And the way that the selection was done, that the commission did the selection, was by straw ballots. So they picked, there was like the top 5, and at a special commission meeting, the commission members at that time actually went through the straw ballot process and voted on individuals until that selection was made.
Okay.
And that
so-
selection at the time.
And I'm
was not
sorry
made.
that I'm asking these questions, but I have to
No,
make sure I'm
it's
voting
fine.
correctly and not just based off of what, people are saying. Madam Clerk, when you said, when you said, the city brought the RFP, what do you mean by that?
So I didn't say an RFP.
Okay.
So we piggyback off the city of Weston process that they had went through. And
Who's the we? So,
for the actual search for a city manager.
so the commission,
Now, if you're asking me who sponsored that legislation, I would have to probably look it up. I don't recall.
okay, no.
The
What
individual
I'm asking
sponsor.
is, did that
Mhm.
come from the commission or any one person? I don't care who it was. Or did that come from the city side, that particular piggyback from Weston or whatever city?
And that specifically, Commissioner Williams, I don't recall who brought forth, but I do know that the resolution came before the commission, and I can look it up if you want me to really
No,
quick.
no,
So-
okay.
Mr. Mayor,
One
Mr.
second,
Mayor.
Mr. Manager. Commissioner Kelly?
Thank you. Commissioner Williams. That process that took place that you asking the attorney about, the commission at that time decided to use the firm, as the clerk said, piggybacking off, but it was not done by a manager or interim manager, whoever was the manager. It was done through that particular firm, and the clerk is looking it up so she can give you the specifics. But to answer your question, it was not done through the manager's position at the time. I think that's the question you really were asking.
That's my answer. Thank you.
Okay, so if there are no more discussions, we're gonna call the question. I'm sorry, Mr. Manager, you had a question.
just for the record, this is the exact same process that was utilized by the city of Weston. Since we were not able to piggyback off of their contract again, we just pulled their process and brought it. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Manager.
Mr. Mayor,
Okay, Commissioner Kelly.
I really apologize, but I don't like when folks throw stuff. We piggybacked off to save money. But we still wound up spending money, $25,000 on that search. The reason you piggyback, which all of us know, is to save money while having to do the initial work. And so that's why we piggyback. We can't piggyback now because we weren't able to do it. If we could, I would have tried to do that. But let's just vote. It's a long night.
Okay,
Thank you,
so
sir.
yeah, we're gonna call the question, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Commissioner Williams,
No.
Commissioner Bass, Vice Mayor Irvin,
No.
Commissioner Kelly,
No,
Mayor Taylor,
No.
motion fails.
Madam Attorney, 13-8, 13-8.
Yes. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, accepting the proposal from KCI Technologies, Inc. for the provision of pavement, sidewalk, and additional city assets condition assessment pursuant to request for proposals RFP number 22-09-12200, and further authorizing the interim city manager to enter into an agreement with KCI Technologies, Inc. for said services, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
Can I get a motion?
move for discussion.
Move for discussion.
Second.
Second, moved by Commissioner Kelly, second by Commissioner Williams. Mr. Manager, can you introduce this item, please? Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As some of you may be aware, that part of our beautification process, we've been looking at our sidewalks throughout the city. Many areas of portions of our city are without sidewalks and not accessible by pedestrians. And we have been addressing this in portions. This is the next step in moving that forward to eventually have the entire city pedestrian accessible.
We're gonna open the floor for discussion. Commissioner Kelly,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I support the item. My concern and reason I pulled it, because when I looked at the costs and the agenda briefing, the costs that is going to take place over a period of time is going to be rolled into a future budget amendment. And so I want to be clear if I'm correct in my assessment. I just want to be clear to the manager, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll request Mr. Bob Anathan, our Director of Budgets and Risk Management, to come and address Commissioner Kelly's question.
Good evening, Commission. I'm Anthony, Budget Administrator. To Commissioner Kelly's point, if I may, this was not a budgeted item this year, so it will be covered by a budget amendment.
Understood. Commissioner Kelly, does it answer your-
If I could just add, it was budgeted for last year. It was not executed that time, so we're bringing it forward. It was budgeted for about $50,000 last year, and it's a much broader scope project this year. So it's going to be in the range of $200,000.
Okay,
And will be covered by a budget amendment.
yes, sir. Commissioner Kelly?
Thank you. I bring it up because it was budgeted for a certain amount last year, and obviously it's kind of almost tripled that. And I'm putting on the record, I said to the manager in the meeting, while I understand sometimes we have to do things, I'm very leery when we have to do budget amendments, especially of large amounts. There is a need for assessment of our sidewalks and some of the things that we're doing. So hopefully this will be enough to cover that assessment to help us move forward. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other discussion on this item? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes,
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor,
Yes,
motion passes 5-0.
Madam Attorney, 13-9.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, authorizing the interim city manager to execute a renewal insurance agreement with the Florida League of Cities, Inc., administrator of the Florida Municipal Insurance Trust for property, liability, and workers' compensation insurance for fiscal year 2022 through 2023, accepting and implementing the required conditions at a cost of $3,400,000 $29,646 to be paid in installment payments by the city, authorizing the execution of all necessary documents by the proper city officials, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
This time we entertain any motions.
Moving for discussion.
Moved by Commissioner Kelly. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Irvin. Mr. Manager, can you introduce this item?
Absolutely, Mr. Mayor. As you all may be aware, the city of Opa-locka, unlike many cities, is not self-insured. So we have to go out to insurance companies to be insured for all of our general liabilities. We saw this year a significant jump in an increase in our premiums due to the increase in our salaries, which those two are tracked. We are bringing this item forward so the city can remain insured. However, on the next commission meeting, we will be bringing forward an RFP for an agent of record to see if we can negotiate a lower premium.
Okay, the floor is open for discussion.
Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Kelly.
Thank you. As was stated, obviously, we have to have our insurance. And the only one who will insure us at this point and does a good job is the Municipal Insurance Trust. My concern is that the amount is so high, an additional $650,000 for this coming year. And in my opinion, we need to do a better job on projections and also to let the commission know. And one of the things that I want to suggest that to the commission to do a biannual review going forward in the future so we can see through the manager's office what the trends are and what we're doing to address those increases where possible. I think the manager is already working on some of that, I believe, but I think that needs to make sure that that occurs so that we will know going forward how we can better adjust or better do, because that's quite a bit of money on the adjustment considering what we have projected. But we have to have insurance, so hopefully going forward, we'll be able to tighten up a little better. And to the manager, Mr. Mayor, the things that you're putting in place, Mr. Manager, to address the increases where possible, could you make sure that you just give it to us in writing as you go forward?
Absolutely, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No problem. Anyone else for discussion on this item? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Yes. Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Madam Attorney, 1311.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, approving issuance of a request for proposals, RFP, to obtain a contractor to demolish the existing layout and build a police station at 780 Fisherman Street, providing for a corporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
Can I get a motion?
Move it for discussion.
Moved by Commissioner
Second.
Kelly, second for by Commissioner Williams. Mr. Manager, can you introduce this item?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. We actually received a grant from the state to cover the cost for the demolition of the old police station. We were able to utilize some of those proceeds with the state's permission for build out of a new police station or temporary police station on the first floor. This RFP is to move that forward so that we could move the police department in the new location by April of this year.
Any discussion on this item?
Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Kelly?
Thank you. I wholeheartedly support the item and I commend the managing office for going forward for the proposal. My question that I have, and it's probably really more to the commission going forward, since we're going to eventually demolish and have the police station on the first floor, my concern was to have a place for them to park the vehicles, et cetera, that are not just a part of him having to park all over the place, but as in most cities, a central place for police parking. And speaking to the manager, and I think he said he's addressed it or talked to some of my colleagues in the past, how we do that, because we're gonna have a nice building down for them to go in, separate entrance, which I believe they need. I saw the sign going up today, so we're real proactive. It's right there, really nice sign, police, building or whatever. But what are we gonna do about the parking for them, that they can be in one place with their vehicles that can be accessed once we get them down the first floor? I had thought that we possibly would use the parking across the street, but apparently there's some challenge. And as I said to the manager, whatever I can do to support the effort to try to get parking, I'm willing to do it. But I wanted to really bring that to my colleagues' attention, and any suggestions or recommendations that the manager is going to have going forward once this gets completed, that we can have our police department parking in an area that's really designated to them without them having to be scattered all over the place. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other discussion on this item? Hearing none, Mr. Manager, I do agree with my colleague, but I know you were in conversation with the state to see if we can utilize their parking like we were before. Is that still up for? Are we still in conversation with them on that?
Yes, that's correct, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, so that's what we're proposing, that the police will park, or that will be just general parking for everyone?
We're actually exploring a few options, and that is one of the three.
One of the three, and what are the other? What are the other two, if you don't mind? Because you said three, so now I'm eager to know.
The second option is we actually have, by our lease agreement, access to one of the parking lots across from the police station that is currently being encumbered. And I'm continuing to explore options to get our parking lot unencumbered. The third is my hope that another entity that owns the property directly behind the city hall will agree to perhaps a property swap that the commission will agree to, so that we can regain the parking lot directly behind City Hall, and perhaps get funding from the state to build a parking garage there.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Manager.
Yes, sir.
Here, any more discussion on this item? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor,
Yes,
motion passes 5-0.
Madam Attorney, 16A1.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending Article 2, Division 2, Section -2-45 of the City of Opa-locka's Code of Ordinances entitled Agenda, to delete all reference to future agenda items, providing for severability, conflict and repealer, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by Mayor Taylor.
Can I get a motion?
Move it.
Move it for discussion.
Moved by Commissioner Kelly, second by Commissioner Williams. And I'll introduce this item because it is mine. And as you all know, I stated it before, the reason why I proffer this item is to give the power back to the commission, because at that time, the only people that were putting forth legislation was the city manager at that time. And this allows for the commission to actually do what it was elected to do and legislate. Because a lot of times we proffer future agenda items and they get lost in the wind. And as previously stated in previous meetings, things have gotten on the agenda as long as a year later. So to get rid of that from happening again, I proffer this item for the second time in hopes that we can take the power back on this commission. Thank you. And we're gonna open up for discussion. Any,
Yes, Mr.
Madam
Mayor.
Commissioner Williams?
Okay. I agree with you because I have had items myself stuck in the land of the dead until it was resurrected. However, I do want to be clear, specifically some of the questions that I asked during my agenda briefing. The future agenda items keep order, and it does allow for less of a lot of traffic to be convoluted on our agenda. I know, having gone back to review some of the commission meetings prior to the future agenda items, I don't see, there were items that were proffered the night of and passed the night of before the actual commission themselves can actually give input, let the dais know that this is what they would like to see in that particular item. What I also noticed is without having future agenda item, we now place work on, which, anyone, hey, work is work, but work is work. We're now placing more work on our city staff to go work those items, bring it back to the dais, bring it back to the commission. And now the commission then votes it down, it's dead. And now that particular commissioner has worked with that particular city staff. I'm going to bring just a quick example. The boat legislation that I proffered, without hearing from my fellow colleagues, I would not have been able to make changes, pull the item and bring it back so that everyone else can agree on that item. It would have been what it was for what I, and that's just an example, brought it to the dais for, and it would have been either voted up or voted down without me having to go back with staff, me having to go back to the city attorney and clean it up based on my colleagues' recommendations. And that's the difference. So I just wanted to put that on record. I know that I agree with you, Mr. Mayor, in terms of putting the power back into the commission, but I do like to have things that are decent and in order. And I think having future agenda items keeps the order. So that's just my 2 cents. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to respond to that, Commissioner. One, taking away future agenda item does not stop you from doing research, sitting with the city attorney and the city manager to bring, like you say, teeth to the resolution. So if you would like to work longer to make sure your agenda item is better prepared, you can do so. Then when you bring it to the commission, if for any reason you see that it's not going the way that you want it, you can always defer the item. Or if said commissioner has issues, that's what we have friendly amendments for. So everything that you stated in your comments can be rectified at those times. So it does not stop, but I do want to shift really quick because this is a public hearing item. So I want to allow the public, so public hearing for this item really quick. If you don't mind, Commissioner Bass, I'll tie your hand up. Public hearing is open. And then we'll go back to you, Commissioner Bass.
Thank you, Audrey Dominguez, 1147 Jan Avenue. I'm in support of this item. Reason being, as a previous commissioner, I brought in legislation. It was passed, approved by the state, yet it never got executed. And I recall the previous mayor saying at one point in time that some of the items might not get through if you were not the flavor of the month. Well, I think I was never the flavor of the month, maybe even the flavor of the year, because my items are still there and they have not been executed. Therefore, I would like for this to go through. Thank you.
Public hearing is still open. Public hearing is closed. I do apologize, Commissioner Bass. Go ahead, you have the floor.
No need to. To the mayor, I would like to hear from this clerk's office. I would like to also hear from the city manager and the city attorney on their view of the agenda.
Sure. So she asked to hear from the city clerk. Then we'll go to the city manager and then the city attorney on their view on this agenda.
Mr. Mayor, So I really don't have any comments one way or the other. You know, whatever the commission decides, that's what our office will follow. It doesn't make a difference to our office if future agenda items remains or if it's removed from the agenda. There's always going to be a process to follow, and we'll make sure that we follow that process.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The second person name she called was the city manager, Mr. Manager. She would like to hear your response to this.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My office sees this particular resolution with positives. I see both the pros and cons to Commissioner Williams' point. Yes, it is possible that you could spend hours working with the city staff, working with the city attorney, and not have any, and without any feedback from your colleagues beforehand, bring forward something that has no support. But that can be life. We are already adjusting to prepare either way it goes. We are in the process of hiring a legislative aide to work for the commission to help you with your agenda items, to bring those forwards, to assist you, to be a liaison between your office or any work that the city attorney may request in support of bringing forward resolution. So as the city clerk said, we will make it happen either way.
Thank you, Madam, sorry. Thank you. Madam Clerk, Madam Attorney, it's your turn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We will obviously work in any way that we need to in order to facilitate the will of this commission. We've done it both ways. A lot of the burden or shouldering of the drafting of legislation does fall on us. So I would just like to bring the attention to the commission of the what's still remaining in the legislation, unless that is changed. It states that all requests for placement of items on a city commission agenda by the mayor, commissioners, department heads, or any other party must be submitted to the city manager for fiscal impact analysis no later than 12 p.m. on the Monday, 12 business days prior to the regularly scheduled commission meeting. And so that still does remain, and it has been here even before the future agenda item language was added. A lot of times we get items in a closer window than this, and it makes it very difficult because also this requires under the paragraph 2 that it must be submitted 9 business days before the agenda is printed and disseminated. We do not get that much notice on a regular basis, hardly ever. And so we would like, and I'm happy to hear the manager say that he has a legislative person who's coming, and I look forward to meeting and working with that person to help facilitate the will of the commission. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No problem. Commissioner Bass, does that answer all of your questions?
Does, thanks. Mr. Mayor, just,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
oh, no, just
Commissioner
real
Williams?
quick. I just wanted to say, just to, respond to what you said. The will of the commission is going to be what, it happens. My only thing is and I want to be clear, wanted to make sure that I heard from my colleagues first before the work was done. And that was my only issue. I don't want to say issue, but question that I had. So thank you. We can continue.
Okay, Madam Clerk, Madam Attorney, in these meetings, we do transparency. So to answer Commissioner Williams' concern, she can bring up what she desires to do in the future during her discussion, correct? To gauge the waters of the commission?
Thank you. She can certainly bring it up under, or any of you can bring it up under commission comments, and you can, try to get a gauge there. That's something you can do. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Mayor.
Any other discussion on this item?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I definitely support the item, and since my concern was the clerk being able to get the information out or whatever, so she doesn't have a problem with, the manager says he's comfortable with it. I definitely support. I never really cared for it, even though initially I supported it. But I was hoping that we would have back then reviewed it to maybe tweak it, but I don't like the idea of future agenda items. I think you captured it in your comments. And I think as the manager alluded to, that they're going to be hiring for the clerk, a legislative aide that can do some of the research that the commission might want for an item. So let's move forward. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No problem. Any other discussion on this item? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Williams,
No.
Commissioner Bass,
No.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes first reading.
Madam Attorney, we're moving to 16B1.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, approving an agreement for the exchange of the surplus city property identified by folio 08-2122-007-0270 and owned by the city with property identified by folio 08-2122-000-0031 and owned by V Squared Investments LLC. Further authorizing the city manager to execute the property exchange agreement by and between V Squared Investments LLC and the city of Opa-locka, Florida, and to take all other necessary actions to effectuate the intent of this ordinance, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. First reading was held on December 14th, 2022. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
Can I get a motion and a second for this item?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Williams. Can I get a second on this item?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bass. Mr. Manager, can you introduce this item?
Absolutely, Mr. Mayor. So this is the second reading of the ordinance to approving a property swap for land that the city owns across from Siegel Park with land that the city owns behind Siegel Park. We brought the land swap, we brought this item originally as an option for the commission to either direct staff to purchase the land or to do a property swap. The commission opted for the property swap and we are moving forward with that item.
This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open.
Audrey Dominguez, 1147 Jen Avenue. I know that this item was brought about, I think last year, and it didn't pass. And I know it has to do with the parking that's right across from Siegel Park, where there's really not a lot of parking in that area. And I don't see what is the urgency of this item to swap lands. We have other things in the city that we have to do. I hear that it's to build a senior living facility or project or something to that event. I don't think that this is a good item for the city at this point. So I hope that you guys don't approve this item.
Public hearing is still open. Public hearing is closed. Do we have any discussion on this item?
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly?
I won't belabor the point because I addressed it on the last meeting where I couldn't support it and I still don't support it. But I want to put on the record because in my briefing and also has been stated here, but in my briefing that the parking would be made up or there would be additional parking by creating approximately 6 parking spots within the current Siegel Park parking. And I asked the question, would it be able to be done without moving or bothering the pavilions, et cetera? And I was told that it could be done. I went over this several times trying to figure out how you're going to get 6 more parking spots without decreasing the size of that space within that little area where it was told to me it was going to be. I still don't see the need to swap and do this at this point when you don't have a master plan or any plan. I know there's talk about housing and something maybe for seniors or whatever, but there's no funding. There's no plan in place. So to me, there's no need to rush and do this. So I'd like to know on the record, so the manager can tell me, Mr. Mayor or his staff, how they're going to replace the parking, because I also heard in my briefing that potentially the city could open the gate on the backside of where the playground and add some spots down on that end for additional parking. And my concern is still the same. If you put parking on that end, folks still got to walk down the sidewalk just to get to Helen Miller for an event. So I want to just know, number one, the plan to replace the parking that we're going to lose by making this land swap, and just put on the record so I can have it notated. I know this was something the commission had, I guess, proffered before, but I want to put that on the record because I just know that that's going to be a major challenge. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To the manager.
Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I recall the statement being 5 parking spaces, and I do recall that the commissioner had a conversation with a member of staff regarding how that would be situated. The city engineer was not in the staff meeting at that time, and I will be relying on him we are relying on him to do the layout for the additional 5 parking spaces. The initial drawing did, from my perspective, look like it was going to recall moving the fence. But we don't have those final drawings. And as soon as we have those final drawings, I will submit those to Commissioner Kelly for his review.
Okay. Commissioner Kelly, you okay?
I don't, there's no plan. The engineer has not addressed it. It was brought up at my meeting that they were going to create. I don't see, and all of us have been over there, how you don't get 6 more spots in that little slot without doing something to those pavilions. The other option that I heard again in the briefing was that we could use the backside of the open field down the other end and create some additional parking there. Well, all of us know when you have an event, folks are renting, to create parking down there. Number one, is going to take away from the whole land that you're potentially may do some housing, whatever you're going to do. But to walk down the sidewalk to an event or to whatever, to me, is challenging. Again, I go back to my original point. What is the need and the urgency to do it now? Now, if you said we had some funding right now from the state or federal government, and we got to show them right now that we got that opening, I would look at it maybe a little differently. But up to this point, nobody's shown me the urgency or the need to do this at this moment without having a plan of addressing the additional parking. And that's why I raised it. Like I said, I want to get that deep because I had already spoke about it last meeting, but I want that on the record. So we don't really have a engineering plan that hasn't been done. But thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other discussion on this item? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Bass?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin?
No.
Commissioner Kelly?
No.
Commissioner Williams?
Yes.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Madam Attorney, 16B2, no,
Yes.
yeah, 16B2.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, to adopt an amendment to the Land Development Regulation, Ordinance 15-31, to permit tractor trailer truck and/or major vehicle 10,000 pounds or greater parking in the I-4 zoning district, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. First reading was held on December 14th, 2022. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
Can I get a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Dr. Bass.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Williams. Mr. Manager, can you introduce this item?
Absolutely, Mr. Mayor. As you all are aware through our discussions, it has been a target of the administration to clean up Carroll Lane. In our review, the issues are legion. One of the issues is illegal businesses. That is businesses that have been operating on Carroll Lane for several years without a business license or any type of recognition from the city of Opa-locka. With this particular business, this is a strong, viable business that brings jobs to the city with reputable clients such as Walmart and Amazon. However, we are unable to move forward with making them a legal business as they are, as the area where they are operating is actually zoned for a junkyard. It has been the will of the commission that we not bring forward any more junkyards to the city of Opa-locka. So we are requesting that this ordinance passes so that we can bring legitimate legal businesses that the city wants down Carroll Lane and facilitate our plan to get it cleaned up.
This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Do we have any discussion on this item? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Bath,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor,
Yes,
motion passes 5-0.
thank you. And we're going into our city manager's report. Mr. Manager?
No report at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Do we have any official board reports, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Mayor, before you go on, can I please announce a shade meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, and I want to try to get some consensus if I can from you all.
Okay, one
You
second,
have-
Madam Clerk, and go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You all have scheduled for the 17th of January, a CRA board meeting. And I wanted to try to kind of piggyback off of that for 6:30 PM to set an executive session for a few items. And I wanted to know if the commission would be amenable to that, if I can tag on to that date. This is the 17th, your meeting for the CRA, and correct me if I'm wrong, Madam Clerk, is 5:30, and this I wanted to set for 6:30. You have only one item on your CRA meeting, so if that works for everybody, I'd like to announce a shade meeting.
To the commission, Madam, well, we'll do it by roll call. Madam Clerk, can we do a roll call for that question? Madam Clerk?
I'm sorry, Ms. Mayor. I was verifying the time for the CRA meeting. I'm sorry.
Okay, the question was, is the commission available for a closed door session meeting next week, Tuesday, the 17th at 6:30, from 6:30 to 7:30?
Okay,
I just want to do a roll call.
And it would be about an hour for the items.
1 hour. So can we do a roll call to get the will of the commission?
yes. So that would be the 17th
Yes, ma'am.
at 6:30 PM for
Yes, ma'am.
attorney-client session. Commissioner Kelly?
I don't think, no.
Commissioner
Oh, wait,
Williams?
hold, let me ask a question. I'm sorry. How long do you think it will last, Madam Attorney?
It shouldn't last any more than an hour, sir. It will start at 6:30 and I will have you out by 7.
No.
I'm sorry, by 7:30.
Commissioner Williams?
Yes, I'm available.
Commissioner Bass?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin?
Yes.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes,
Okay, so the only one that's unavailable is Commissioner Kelly
correct.
for that date and time.
All right, so Madam Attorney?
Thank you. If I can read, notice is hereby given that a private closed-door executive attorney-client session pursuant to 286.011 Florida statutes will be held in the Commission Chambers, Shaburndy Village, Auditorium 215 Purvis Avenue, Opa-locka, Florida, on January the 17th at 6:30 PM, or will be moved to an adjoining room within the building where the auditorium is located. The purpose of the meeting is to discuss the following pending litigation items: City of Opa-locka Community Development Corporation, Inc. Case of City of Opa-locka versus Opa-locka Community Development Corporation, Inc. Case number 2021-010170 CA01, Lakeview Apartments LLC and Lakeview Apartments versus Miami-Dade County and City of Opa-locka, case number 20-001124 CA01 at 6:15, and the City of Opa-locka versus Wilson, 2021-021307 CA-01, to take place at approximately 6:30 PM. The following individuals will attend: Mayor Taylor, Vice Mayor Irvin, Commissioner Bass, Commissioner Kelly, Commissioner Williams, Interim City Manager Darvin Williams, City Attorney Bernadette Norris Weeks, Assistant City Attorney Michelle Austin Pammies, Assistant City Attorney Candace Cobb. The estimated length for all of these sessions would be approximately 1 hour. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No problem. So Madam Clerk, any official board appointments? No, board reports, I'm sorry.
No, Mr. Mayor, not at this time.
Okay, so we're at future agenda items. Do we have any future agenda items from my colleagues? Okay, hearing none, I do have some. As we all know, our city is under financial oversight. And what we've been doing was meeting with our state legislators and so to create a process to see us out of that. So I have a couple that I want to proffer on tonight for that reason. So the first one, Mr. Manager, this is a resolution for you to produce a progressive dashboard for the oversight committee that tells us the start to finish, so how we got on state oversight and what we've done thus far to show and present that to the commission and as well as the oversight committee. So that's the first item. So do we need to go each one and vote? Okay, so that's the first item. Can I get a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Kelly,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor,
Yes,
motion passes 5-0.
thank you. The second resolution would be to dust off and update the 5-year recovery plan and adopt it by resolution. Because the last time we did it was, I believe, in 2019. And a lot of the things that are process that are in that 5-year recovery plan is a little antiquated. So I want to update it. And again, bring it to the commission, adopt it, and then submit that as well to the state. Can I get a motion?
Move it.
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Kelly, second by Dr. Bass. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. The third one, I want the city manager, make a motion for the city manager to address the 99 findings and provide corrective action to date of all of the 99 findings. And if we have, I understand that we don't have the staff. So even if we have to bring a consultant to do just that, I want to entertain that. So can I get a motion for that as well?
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kelly, second by Dr. Bass. Madam Clerk?
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion
And
passes.
also I'm sorry, y'all.
No.
Well, we got to do it. So I want to create in this city an oversight task force that holds the city manager, the commission, the city attorney accountable to the state oversight, because we got to get from under them. So, and this task force will include residents, so 5 residents appointed by the commission. And then I'm going to reach out to Senator Jones's office for an appointee, Representative Gant's office, and our 2 county commissioners to sit on that task force in order for us to make sure that we are corrective action plans on the 99 findings, following the 5-year recovery plan, and submitting our audits on time. Can I get a motion? Moved by Dr. Bass,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, also, one of the 99 findings or processes of our charter officers, we talked about this before, which is the evaluations of our charter officers. We discussed it before, but we never put it in place. And I know that at that time, Commissioner Williams and Mayor Pygott was working on coming up with a tool. So I just want to make sure that we are doing that. So I want to make sure and put that in a resolution so that it goes forth to evaluate our charter officers. Can I get a motion?
Move it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Kelly.
Second.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Irvin. Madam Clerk, I'm sorry, y'all.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes, and
Motion
this is the last,
passes.
thank you. This is the last one, but this is unrelated to the oversight. I'm piggybacking on Commissioner Williams's beautification project. I want us to develop and replace gateways in the city to beautify the city. So when people walk in, they're drawn into our city. So that's the last one. I promise, that's the last one. That's the last one. Can I get a motion and a
Move
second?
it.
Moved by Vice Mayor.
Wait, didn't you already have a for the for the gateways of the city? How about,
We never moved it. We never did it by resolution.
oh, okay.
We never did it by
okay, you
resolution.
Did it by
This is- I
direct.
would- yeah.
Okay, I got it.
We
Okay,
discussed it, but we never,
understood.
okay.
Okay, yes,
second by, so
second. yes.
moved by Vice Mayor, second by Commissioner Williams. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Bass?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Williams?
Yes,
Mayor Taylor?
Yeah,
Motion passes.
okay, that's it. I'm done. I promise. Yeah, we've been working. We've been working. Okay, next, any other future agenda items? I do apologize.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
quick
Commissioner
question.
Williams.
No.
Go ahead, go ahead.
This, through the mayor to the clerk, I would like to create a junior commission. Would that be through resolution or just the board needs to vote on that as, one of our new boards? How does that work, Madam Clerk?
You want to, I'm sorry for clarification, Mr. Mayor?
No, Commissioner Williams, she wants to create a
A
junior commission.
I would defer that to legal. I'm not sure if that would require legislation.
I'm sorry, I didn't, what you said? Legal, okay.
We can certainly bring an item back and have you all consider it. It would normally be a resolution.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's, okay,
Yeah.
so I would like to, thank you. For a future agenda item, resolution to create a junior commission of high school students in our area. Each of the members of the board will have, will select a student that will sit on that junior commission. And that's where we are.
Okay, can I get a motion?
Move.
Moved by Dr. Bass,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor. Madam Clerk, roll call. I'm sorry, it's late, y'all. Madam Clerk.
Vice
Madam
Mayor
Clerk.
Irvin?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Williams?
Yes.
Commissioner Bass?
Yes.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Next, we're gonna have our mayor and commission reports. Mayor and commission reports. Anybody want to go? Well, we'll start right to, left to right. So, Commissioner, I'm sorry, Commissioner Williams, you have a report?
No, not really. I just want to say Happy New Year. Great job on all the Christmas initiatives, the toy drives, the city. Also, we attended the one through Upper Bound. I also know attended one. Well, that was just a thrown together one, but there were a few toy drives get put together in the city. So I just want to commend everyone that had their hands in the soil and did that for the kids of Opa-locka, and they were greatly appreciated. Also, I will be bringing up, and this will be in February, an illegal dumping citizen workshop. And that in order for our residents to be able to speak to our city staff and give insight into what they see the illegal dumping should look like, and also giving them the tools that's going to help them stop and also help join the task force in their amazing job that they're doing, as well as code enforcement. So kudos to you all. I look forward to the MLK walk this weekend. And last but not least, and this is just for our mayor, I just want to say happy Founder's Day to the sorority sisters of Delta Sigma Theta sorority. It is our 110th Founders Day, and I'm excited with the activities that we've planned this weekend. Thank you.
You did say you was gonna do that. Okay, all right. Dr. Bass is not here, so we'll come back to her. Mine's is similar to what the mayor stated. So Happy New Year to all. I look forward to working with everyone. Great job on the toy drive that you did. I look forward to the walk. We know that the state of the city is coming up at the end of the month. And I invite all of our residents to attend to see where Opa-locka is now and where we're going in the future. I know it was stated on the agenda, but point of privilege, I want to talk about it now. We did the ma'am. The legislative priorities. Tomorrow, the city will be going to the 2023 delegation public hearing presentation. I will be presenting on behalf of the city. And what we did was we composed all of the legislative priorities from last year and just brought them, well, not last year, but what the previous commission had already, because we were running out of time. So we'll work with the city manager on that issue. And this is a copy of what will be presented. It's pretty much the same from last year with a little more to it. So this is what we have presented in a nutshell to our state legislators on tomorrow. And that's where we are, but I know we're going to discuss it in more detail further down in our mayor and commission reports. But I just wanted you all to provide this document so you can know what we will be talking about, what I'll be talking about tomorrow on behalf of our city when I'm in front of the legislation begging for money so that we can get it. Other than that, I have no more board reports. Oh, bingo is coming back. Thank you for bingo. Those that participated the last time, Vice Mayor, Commissioner Kelly, thank you. And Vice Mayor, thank you because you were a lifesaver, because I had other stuff to do and she jumped right in. And so I thank you for that. So bingo will be next Friday at 6:30, 6:30, Chris, right? Chris, bingo's next Friday at 6:30, right? All right, so see you all next Friday at 6:30 for bingo. That is it for my report. And Commissioner Bass, but what I will like to see, because this document, and I know, like I said, will be discussed during another portion of, this portion. But take this document home, and whatever you want to add to it, email the city manager so that we can add it to this, because we only have 3 minutes. So I picked out what I thought we can get the more bang for our buck. So, Commissioner, and I'm done with that. Commissioner Bass, she says she's good. Vice Mayor.
Good evening. Happy New Year to you all. I had the pleasure of hosting the toy drive this year, as every year. But there's a few people I have to say thank you to, like the city manager's office, the clerk's office, Park and Rec, the police department, of course, my sponsors, my colleagues for coming out and supporting the event. My husband for putting together so many bicycles. The Booster Club, you are amazing. And I'm already excited about this year's. I also was honored to go to Pastor McHale and the Mount Table Ministries and help them pack food and boxes to donate to the community. And I'm going to say to the residents, if you can go every Thursday at 1 p.m. to 15050 Johnson Street, located in the Triangle, you will receive a nice bit of food, and that's walk up or drive through. Commissioner Kelly, thank you so much for allowing me to co-sponsor with you for Farm Share. It was amazing. It's the first Wednesday of every month. I really enjoyed myself there. And only in South Florida, you can swim year round. And I just recently had a pool party and it was amazing. 70 people showed up, about 70 people, which was more than I expected. Even the senior citizens showed up to show support. And Commissioner Kelly, thanks for coming out to support me with that event. The manager's office, thank you so much. The clerk's office, thank you so much. Parks and Rec, thank you all so much. I have to save the dates if possible. Because the pool party was a success and the parents asked me, when can we do this again? I had to let them know that actually the pool is open every day except for Sundays and Tuesdays from 2 to 6. But I am going to have another pool party. I just came up with a date today, and I'm tentatively for March 18th because it's going to be the spring break kickoff pool party. Also, this is something that I hope that my colleagues would like to co-sponsor. And if they want to co-sponsor me with it, hopefully they can talk to the, and let the clerk know or me. I'm bringing karaoke to Opa-locka for Black History Month. And we have the date is for February 25th from 6 to 11 p.m. And I'm expecting it to be very nice. And thanks to the city manager for helping me with this as well. And anybody else in this that may want to help sponsor anything while we're doing this, please let the clerk know for me. That's the end of my report. And thank you all.
Vice Mayor,
Yes, sir.
even though you stole my idea,
No, sir. No, sir.
I do want to co-sponsor with you on the karaoke night, if you don't mind. if you
I
have
would
me.
love it.
Thank you. And you said it's February 29th, right? Saturday?
25th,
25th.
Saturday the 25th, yeah.
25th. Thank you.
Here at Shabundi.
Here
I know
at
that much.
Shabundi.
Okay, thank
We'll
you.
all co-sponsor.
So I guess everyone is
Okay.
co-sponsoring.
Let's do it.
And they better sing too. They just better not just show up. They better sing. Commissioner Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Most of my report been already talked about. Let me see. MLK Walk, of course, everyone hopefully can make it. The community as well. I want to thank all of you for your efforts, the manager's office, the clerk's office. We've had meetings to try to put it together, and as everyone knows, my mom believed in walking and not a parade. It is going to be or projected to be cold. So keep that in mind. It's supposed to be cold. I don't know how cold, so we'll improvise, but I do want to say that we will have the T-shirts, and I've asked the clerk's office, Mr. Wills, to make sure my colleagues, the manager and appointed staff gets their shirts that they can have. We will have also shirts for the community for MLK this Saturday, 9 a.m. I want to thank my colleagues for who are co-sponsoring in the commission for supporting the legislation throughout the years. I also want to, as the mayor brought up, because that's why I put in my report, because I had not heard anything about the legislative packet, and I do know that they are going to be coming. You got to present, and I hadn't heard anything, so that's why I put it under my report. So I'm glad to know that. I wish I had known in advance, even though you have 3 minutes to just stand with you as support. But I know you'll do a great job in your 3 minutes of representing the city on behalf of our legislative priorities. I also want to say, as a part of that, going forward, Mr. Mayor, and to my colleagues as well, hopefully, as we go through this process, you're going to, well, we're going to go to Tallahassee. When I say we, I'm not saying all of us, but at least I know you. I know we have money to travel, to at least go and represent, even though we got a package and we, got a legislative, we need to make sure we make our presence known in Tallahassee. I don't really want to travel on a small plane, but to make sure we're represented going forward to Tallahassee, and specifically not days, although I love it, but during committee week, so you can really get some eye and face time with our legislators on both sides of the aisle. I do want to thank my co-host for the farm share, which is going to be the first Wednesday of every month here in the city. Thank you for your co-hosting, and Commissioner Bass, thank you for coming by. I know Commissioner Williams was with us in spirit. She couldn't make it, but I want to thank all of my colleagues, because all of us recognize the need to help our community, and thank you for that. I also want to I brought up Black History, and it's the forum here because I wanted to ask my colleagues. I know you all did some things last year for Black History. I want to make sure, as a collective group or whoever, I just heard karaoke And I definitely want to co-host that. I'll do the 6 to 8 p.m. part because that's a Saturday night. Me and Commissioner Bass got to get up. We can't be all night, but I want to co-host that as well. I like the idea. But I would hope also we will be doing other things for Black History. Matter of fact, too, Commissioner Williams, I know you did something last year. You're planning something this year for Black History. I look forward to, if possible, working with you on that because I want to see as much as we can for Black History Month and get our residents and community involved. So that's why I put it on on my report. I just want to be a part of whatever's going on as we recognize our history. I also want to thank the Vice Mayor and Parks and Rec, Manager's Office, clerks, everyone that was involved in the Christmas toy bicycle giveaway. Vice Mayor, I know you worked very hard on that, very successful. A lot of people here, a lot of young folks here, a lot of parents here. I heard a lot about it. So thank you for your energy and leadership on that. I had opportunity also to attend the Christmas Seniors Gala that was here very well. Like I got in a little step with them. I always like to be around the seniors. I am working on a seniors fishing trip for next month. A couple of possible dates. Any of my colleagues that want to go fishing, I know y'all might be working, but if you take the day off, want to go fishing, we're gonna go up to South Bay. I'll treat you to lunch. Lunch is involved in it, but I can't guarantee you're gonna catch no fish, but you're welcome to be a part of that if you want to.
You said,
Say it again.
he said lunch. I think I work for lunch. Go
I said lunch. I have to take it. Yeah, lunch is a nice little park up in South Bay that you can go to, that we go to for lunch. So we're working on that for the early part of February. Of course, Meet Me Monday, we restarted this past Monday. I want to thank the clerk's office, Mr. Wills, the manager, the chief of police. We had officers there. And I said the other night, I don't mandate or really require for staff to be there, although I think it's always a good idea. But I want to thank the mayor and the vice mayor for coming by as well. Because it's important that we hear the concerns of our residents. And I will look forward to, I'll discuss with the manager more to be able to have probably a department spotlight at the monthly meeting as well, where the department can really highlight what they're doing as well. But maybe Monday is back the second Monday of every month. In the city of Opa-locka, somewhere there will be a Meet Me Monday to hear concerns of the residents and the community. I think that is all I have for tonight, Mr. Mayor. I look forward that we go forward and move forward as we're working, trying to get Ingham Park back open. As I said, I need a Monday, a two-prong approach, short-term and long-term, but we've got to get Ingham Park open. Thank you very much. That is my report. And also, I would like to just say, Madam Attorney, if you can give me direction. I know Commissioner Williams had initiated, I heard the mayor mentioned earlier about a beautification initiative, and I wanted to get more information about that. And so would that, I guess, would require possibly a shade meeting, Madam Attorney, for me to be able to discuss with her that, or, I don't know. I don't want to take up the whole commission time trying to do it, but I want to learn more about it as we go forward, because I think it's an important initiative and some things I've noticed as well that she may already have a part, so I don't want to reduplicate something. So can you give me some suggestions?
Sure. So
To the commissioner?
executive sessions are just for litigation matters, things that are in litigation. So if it is, so anything else that you all would discuss would need to be done in a publicly noticed meeting. You could certainly do it at a time that's mutually convenient for both of you all, but it would have to be noticed by the clerk. And you could have a discussion about it, or you could do it in a commission meeting, but it would need to be something that the public is able to attend as well.
No, I called it the wrong thing instead of a shade, but I know it's a meeting where you can call for two elected officials to discuss. I mean, I think it's something all of us probably could do, but I know it was her initiative that she had mentioned earlier, so I wanted to get more about it and see, because I do have some ideas and hopefully to proffer as a part of that initiative. So I'll speak with the clerk and we'll go from there. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No problem. And I believe also Saturday, we have the ARPA workshop at 2 here, at 2 p.m. here at Shabundi for our residents to give their input on how we would spend those ARPA funds that were dispensed by our government. With that being said, we're going into our official board appointments. No, we have more. So our official board appointments. So I know we have one for Dr. Bass for the individual appointment for the Civil Service Board. I think the clerk provided applications. So are you ready to appoint or you need time? Madam Clerk?
Is there a question? I'm
Oh,
sorry.
oh,
So
yeah,
we have
no.
we have two applications that were provided to the commission. And one is from George Suarez and it's for the Civil Service Board. The other one is from Florelba Wright. It's also for the Civil Service Board. And there's only one individual appointment and that's yours, Commissioner Bass. So those are the two options.
So
Or
do I
if you
have
know,
to-
no, you don't have to appoint either of these. If you know someone that's willing to serve on the board,
Do-
it's up to you who you want to appoint.
Do I have to give a name tonight?
No, ma'am. you don't.
Okay, thanks.
It's just for your consideration.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and we have these other boards that are open. So does anybody want to make an appointment to these boards that are open now? If not, then we'll move on. Hearing none. We're getting ready to go home. I want to thank the staff for sticking around with us. I do apologize for this long meeting, and I know you guys have been here all day. So I thank you for your dedication to the great city. To the great city, to our city manager, our city attorney, and city clerk's office. Thank you all for your dedication. And can I get a motion to adjourn?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Kelly, second by Vice Mayor. Have a third by Dr. Bass. Have a great night. You all, and Happy New Year again. This meeting is adjourned.